Good evening, everyone, or hello, everyone. This is your very favorite history teacher. Let me see your transcript. And I had to come on tonight because I saw an earlier broadcast by Larry Reid Live. And I believe last week, King Jives also did a live about this particular woman named Alveneeta Nelson, who is a local gospel singer here in Houston, Texas. She's from a very stable COGIC family here in Houston, and she recently passed away last week. However, I had a couple of issues with after watching Larry Live's program that the focus was off of Alvaneeta and was more or less on her husband, whom she was separated at the time. And I was also hearing the hurt of her sister Mia Nelson-Tatum, who called into Larry Live and said what her, we're going to say allegedly, um, accusations, disclosing information about her husband, Pastor Chadwick Stevenson, that he was HIV positive and he was also homosexual on the down low. And that she believed that's why her sister died, is that her sister got sick, I think, towards last year. And hey, Roxanne, Betty, and that um, she believes us. Well, she knows her sister. I guess she knows her sister died of HIV and got it from her husband. And she said the sister said in the show that what made her speak up was she saw a post by her husband where he dedicated this song to her, and he felt like he was acting and that he was emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, and it seems financially abusive to her sister. And she said she was not afraid to go the legal route. She said she has text messages and receipts. She has her sister's phone, and she just wants a formal apology from Pastor Stevenson about what he did to her sister. If not, she says she's writing a book and going the legal route. She's ready to go to court to get a lawyer. Um, and when I heard her speaking, I just wanted to reach out and hug her because I felt like I heard the pain, I heard the sorrow in her voice. Her sister is gone, and she feels like that person responsible should um, be brought to justice. And so I sincerely, this open letter goes out, verbal open letter goes out to the Alveneeta Stevenson family, that you all get peace, blessings, justice, peace of mind, a sound mind in this time where you're being, you're grieving, um, that you're going through. I'm saying allegedly because I don't know. I don't know what the receipts are. She said she had the receipts. Um, but I also want to give you out this open letters as a warning, because you went on a very um, well-known platform in the church sector, especially in the COGIC church sector. And yes, Richland, yes, Alveneeta Nelson. She passed away actually last week on her father's birthday. So, and because you went on this program is well known, different sensational stories have been exposed on there. However, Larry Reid Live has a track record of sensationalizing events at the expense of the people who are involved. He sounds like a counselor, but he's not a counselor. He has a master's in counseling, but no counseling license by any state, North Carolina or Georgia. He's considered himself a life coach, even though some of the things he said on the show sounded like, "Oh, I'm having here to have the Converdern station." Um, it's just to make him appealing to church people and to give people and others to have confidence in him to tell them more information. And I just really want you all to be very, very careful. Um, he said something about he had an informant tell him, which I don't know if the informant is someone on his team investigating, because over here we deal with facts. I went to Instagram, I went on Facebook, and according to this sensationalistic post that Larry Reid put up, which I screenshotted, he said that it's a whole big old discussion on Instagram and Facebook. I only found 2 posts on Facebook. One was yours, Larry Lives, and the other was someone reposting his. Went to Mia's Facebook, went to Mia's Instagram. I didn't see any posts about her sister unless she has another page. I did see Pastor Stevenson. He has 2 pages. I think one is personal, one is for artists. Well, he did have a posting about his sister, about his wife, and I think also some other. I think the funeral program. Um, and so, hey, Mary, Furch, Legit Doctor, Betty, Richland, and Daryl, thank you for coming. And I'm just like, and the way he was talking to her was a very soothing way and a very, but I just felt really uneasy. I just felt like this woman, I'm hearing her voice, she's hurt, she's grieving. He's sounding sincere. And I just feel like part of his message to her and what he was saying on his show was things that needed to be said, but I just feel like it was the wrong messenger. Like if this was Marcellus or Mad Church Disease giving this, I could understand. You know what I'm saying? Here's a woman whose sister was raised in the church. You were told, hey, to get, you know, men and women get married, they have children. They're for rich or for poor, things are gonna go bad, but you go to counseling, you work it out. And you really don't divorce. But we live in a very modern age, and so times have changed. And so I'm thinking that there's probably social pressure for her to, cover her husband, to work it out. But it seems like, according to the sister, Pastor Stevenson was not interested, was not physically attracted to his wife. However, he grew up in a church too, married a woman, had a family, he was a stepfather, but now he was not doing the duties of a husband, even though he was outwardly doing the duties of a pastor. So, and so I just want the family, to please seek a much more reputable platform to go on next time. I understand, am I going to, because he deals in very sensationalized stories, or he makes them sensationalized. His name is Chadwick, like Chadwick Boseman, but his name is Chadwick Stevenson. And if you can, please don't go back on his platform. Yeah, Chad or Chadwick. There are other platform I would say, please don't go on Team Jobs either. I'm sorry, just no. If you can, Bad Church Disease, who's also known as Marcellus McMillan, Brother Leonard the Truth Seeker, Ms. Justice. I just have a bad feeling from his track record with the Andrea Garrison issue, with the Denise Clark Bradford, from John Kelsey Stevens, from E. Dewey Smith. Like, his track record, like, yeah, the story explodes on his platform, but is there really follow-up? Since he said he's a counselor, life coach, the people who have been on their stories. I know over here, the A team in our church for our group, like, we do follow up with the people we do stories about. We check on them. We call them. We text them like, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything? How are you doing? It's not like we're just do your story and then just leave you high and dry. And I just feel like that may happen. Please do not give him any text messages because he's gonna, yeah, Jimmy Battle story. Yeah, he's not gonna do the story. He's no counselor, ma'am. Please don't go. No. Don't give him no text messages you got from your sister or from your sister's phone. He gonna put them in Patreon. And he charges $12 a person for Patreon. You're not gonna get none of that money. You might as well open your own, create your own Patreon and charge people yourself. Okay. Um. If you can, I know we're saved, sanctified. You sound saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit. Your whole family does. But saved people can go to therapy too. You can come with the blood of Jesus and see a therapist. I think you guys need some grief counseling by a reputable therapist. Not anybody. If Larry Reid suggests anything to you, don't go there. And yeah, I'll help you find one. I'll research one. Yeah, I'll help you find one. Please don't. Not anyone. Yeah. Um, Also, get a lawyer. Like you said, you willing to go the legal route? Because in Texas, I just looked this up. In Texas, there's no law on the books that says you can go to jail for transmitting HIV to another person. However, what they have done, they have prosecuted, they've I guess arrested and then convicted people based on general law. So like they say, oh, this person is arraigned or arrested for aggravated sexual assault, murder, attempted murder. And then in the course of the investigation, they said, well, you used your HIV blood, semen, liquids to affect this person. This is an attempted murder on their life. And they have been convicted on that. And I will leave that excerpt in the description and in the comment. So it has been done several times in Texas. And I believe a couple of years ago, a man in Dallas was arrested and convicted underneath there. So there's no specific law saying, now this is true, if he was found to have given your sister HIV and then your sister subsequently died, that's either attempted murder, manslaughter, and it caused her death. He would be prosecuted under a general attempted murder charge. And they would just say, help, his HIV. That's right, Roxanne. He used HIV as a weapon. You said you prepared to write your book. Write your book, sis. Write your book. Hopefully, in the story, which Larry kind of alluded to, and I almost agree with him with, your story about your sister should be told so that it may be a warning also to other women that, hey, pay attention to the signs. However, someone told me today that you also need to realize the culture, the COGIC culture and church that you live in, your family is a part of, and how they act. And so how does the COGIC church deal with when a pastor is allegedly gave his wife HIV or is on a down low or had an affair? How do they treat that woman? How do they treat that woman's family? How do they treat him? Will your family and your church be covering you guys, praying for you, supporting you? Or are they going to be thinking like, oh, the sister had HIV. Do they have HIV? And even though we know now better that we know better about how HIV is transmitted, people still have very homophobic and ignorant ideas. And people still think you can get it from touching, well, now with COVID, we're really not going to church, but I'm just saying once church resumes, are people going to think it's like, oh, they sung it to the microphone. Denise Monroe, when I checked his page, yes, he does online. I think online, because in Houston we have stay-at-home orders, so he's still pastoring. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just concerned about that, because if you're singing somewhere and they're like, oh, so and so's family use the microphones, we're going to throw those away. Are those people going to act like that, or are they just going to be? Because I think that's ignorant, but or are they going to just be like, oh, you can't get it that way? Because I know you can't get it that way, but who knows? Also, some people might not think it's HIV. Some people might think it's COVID. So what are you going to do when they say, you know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, you have to think about. That's a good question, because it seems, Denise, from what the sister says, her sister was the one that was like being a very supportive first lady. Remember, she's from this very strong COGIC family. He left her brother's church and started his own church, and she went with her husband. And so it seems, according to the sister, he was emotionally and verbally abusive, and did not treat her as a wife in private. So yeah, I'm just concerned about that. Are you going to be speaking out? Also, are you guys going to be speaking more out, either as a group, or are you going to choose a spokesperson for that? If you're going to continue to speak out about this, because the conversation needs to be addressed. We need to be really serious about this, because there are lots of Black women, Black heterosexual women, and Black gay men in church. And I think Mad Church Disease, Marcellus McMillan, alluded to this in his live from earlier today. What is the message that they're sending us? It's mostly us in the pews. You're telling the Black women, oh, you need to come to church and wait on Boaz. Okay, are you telling the heterosexual men there too, so they can come and get their Naomi's? Ruth in the church, because the Black gay men who are there, the pastor telling them that, oh, God will heal you from homosexuality. You just need to come to church and pray over the blood of Jesus, and then you're encouraging unions between Black gay men and heterosexual women who both don't want to be alone, who are both told and raised up, hey, you get married, you have kids, and that's what they want, but the person that they're marrying doesn't want them that way. And so unfortunately, you end up with a union like what happened with allegedly between Pastor Chadwick Stevenson and Alveneeta Nelson, who I was told was a very great singer. I was just listening to some of her songs, one of her songs online before I came on, and I'm just like, remember, I think it was Dawson Denise had another story from like last year. Another lady, evangelist in the church, married another elder, and later on found out that he was on a down low, and he killed her because she found out. And here you are having a similar circumstance, encouraging unions between Black gay man and a straight Black woman, and she was a little bit older than him. And I'm just letting you know, there is social pressure. Roxanne, that's somewhat true. They are horrible. We're not the only horrible churches. There is God there, but there's also some sinners and Satanists obviously there too. So yeah, you're right. You're not lesbian women looking for straight men because hey, they're told like, hey, this is what you're supposed to get married, have children, come to church. You're gonna find him. God's gonna heal you from your lesbianism. Um, I don't know. In this particular case, Mia Nelson-Tatum said she was a lesbian for 7 years. God healed her, or she rejected it, or she's married. So, but how many lesbian women in church are as lucky as her? Okay, Daryl, so bad. Wait, I'm being flagged for real, Roxanne? Hit the like button, y'all. But I just, after I saw that, his live, I just had reservations, and I'm like, this is actually going on in my own hometown. I'm sorry to make this, it shouldn't be about me, but it's just like, so I really pray that this family gets healing, justice. If it is found out that he did this, like I said, allegedly, like I said, if you go take him to court, you can go to, Harris County. You can go to police. I think it's the police department, right? And file a report. They do an investigation. Also, they have numbers you could contact. Uh, Harris County District Attorney, because they're the ones who really, because they can also send out, I think, a warrant for all the legal people. The county district attorney can send out a warrant, right, for his arrest, and then charge him, right, arraign him, you know. Um, so there is a legal route, and that's what I would like for you to do. That's true, Richland. You never know. From this last year, we've been seeing a lot of different cases. These Christian people are having sex just like non-Christians, and some of them are having in the church. Men and women, different sex, same sex. So, and it's like you wonder if this is God's house or it's the whorehouse. Okay, maybe Roxanne, maybe you're right. you know, um, but I really hope and pray that y'all get healing, justice from this, because I feel the sorry. I just want to hug you, Mia Nelson. I just wanted to hug you today. I just felt it. Just like I want to hug this lady. And you're not supposed to do. I know you're supposed to do social distancing, but I really did. I just wanted to hug this lady because I felt it in her crying. I felt it in her voice that that woman could have been my sister. And I think I'm 42. The lady I think was 48. And I don't even know where her son. I think she has a son. I don't even know what her son is going through right now. His mama's not there, and I feel for that. I pray for that kid too. So we all should pray for them because they obviously need it. But please, please, please don't go back on Larry Reid if you can. Please, you can contact Matt Church Disease, Mark McMillan, um, Dawson Denise. Please don't. I like William McCray, but please don't go on William McCray. He's no, please don't. Or King Jobs. You need someone who's going to sit down and listen, and going to help you get resources to help you, and do a follow up with you. Matter of fact, I need to do some follow up with some people that I worked with before. Yeah, virtual hugs for Mia Nelson and her family. But yeah, and the thing is, Mia Nelson said if Pastor Chadwick Stevenson just goes publicly online and apologize to what he did to her sister and to their family, she will let all this go. Yeah, she won't get any healing on Larry Reid. So, yeah. She said she would let this all go. But I saw Larry use one of my words, that I introduced to you guys, and that I got introduced to by Psych Perspective, narcissistic. Pastor Stevenson may be narcissistic. And Mia Nelson agreed. So he might not give the apology. And my only other question is, if he does give an apology, is it going to be an authentic apology? Is he going to own up to things? You know? And they always want to say, and I think someone in the comments said something about, oh, don't say these things about Pastor Chad. Y'all are gossiping. I don't know both sides. And I'm just like, it sounds a lot like, which, you can defend your pastor. I understand people do that. And even Larry said that. But the only thing is, it sounds a lot like, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. But if he's not acting like a man of God, or acting like a prophet, and acting like he done got the anointing, then he's open to a lot of things. Criticism. The justice system. So I just, really pray for that family, and hope everything does turn out. I just want justice to be done. Good Daryl Moore, yes. And Daryl Moore is gonna come on tomorrow, and I'm dealing more with the family, about healing, them getting help. He's gonna deal with what bloggers should and should not do. Because Larry, you just, I thought you said after this, okay, I posted 2 videos. And if Roxanne and Daryl can go to my page and put the links in there. I did 2 videos this week based on something Larry Reid did last week. So last week, we had Pastor Jamal Bryant. Someone said that he fathered another baby out of wedlock. He's not married, so it's out of wedlock with someone else. That's not Giselle Bryant, his ex-wife. So he comes on and makes a post about, you guys are making all these stories about me, and I'm doing really great things here at the church. We're feeding people on Saturday. We're giving out kits and doing testing on Sunday. And whoever's writing these stories, saying these stories, you can even hear from my lawyer. So I actually did a video where I actually looked up court cases in DeKalb County, and none of them dealt with a new baby. It was one was like failure to pay rent, traffic ticket, and the paternity and child support of his last child, his son. That was it. So there's nothing in there about a new baby or anything like that. Nothing. So he's telling the truth, as far as we know. Yeah, he's telling the truth. But ironically, it was Larry Reid who also talked about it previously, actually saying, yes, he believes Pastor Jamal Bryant does not have another child. He said he is verifying sources. And even though Jamal Bryant has a history of, we call it community peen, and you said some women have community puss. He said he understands why people thought like, oh yeah, you probably have another kid out there, but he actually doesn't. And so Larry said he went to other sources, other vloggers. He wasn't going to name their names. And he went to one and asked him for his sources. And he said, the vlogger said, oh, they're going to be, you're going to wait and see, which according to Larry Reid, he said meant he didn't have any. So that's why he didn't report the story as, yes, Pastor Jamal Bryant has an outside child. No, he does not. Thank you, Roxanne. But this is, and I kept trying to figure out, okay, what's going on with Larry Reid? That all of a sudden he's taking this different approach, because he said, in one, I forget which deposition it was. I think it might have been John Kelsey Stevens, where he said he was a journalist And that in another deposition, he said, I think he said, what did he say? That he was a senior pastor of the NBN and that the Larry Reid live show was the entertainment arm of his church. Now all of a sudden in this video, he's saying, oh, I'm not a journalist. I'm a commentator. I'm a comedic commentator. And I'm just like, oh, so now he's verifying sources and now he's a comedic commentator. So, and he's saying nice things about Jamal Bryant that normally he doesn't say about other pastors. And I'm just like, does he have another court case? So I went to look up to see if he had another court case. No, he doesn't. One of his court cases did get dropped. Yeah, Alveneeta too. He does still have. He can't afford. He barely can afford them, so he can't afford another one. Because if Jamal Bryant found out it was him who started that rumor, then he's gonna he's not gonna be in Fulton County. He's gonna be in probably DeKalb County. Yeah. Christine Parson, he don't know what he is. But yeah, I'm just okay, backing off Larry Reid. I just want y'all just to be like, I know pray for this family. I hope to get justice. Mr. Pastor Stevenson. I hope you don't go on Larry Reid. Just do your apology on Facebook, like Miss Mia Nelson-Tatum told you to do, because I hear it in her voice. She is, you know, a legit doctorate. You may be right. Maybe he does have another NDA with Jamal Bryant. He's not supposed to say anything. Oh, he's trying to rebrand Alveneeta? Probably so. But tonight it felt like, oh, the old Larry came out. He's trying to sound like he's doing something new, but he's not. It's just like, be careful. In the words of King Jives told Conscious TV once upon a time, be careful over there. Nelson family, be careful over there. Mm-hmm. So, where's Mayor Church Disease? Is he still working on the computer? Because I wanted to ask him a question. So one time I wish I had StreamYard, I can ask him a question. Because he knows more about the COGIC church than I do. I just know it mostly from King Jives and Clark Sisters and singing and videos. Sleeping. He's probably up at 3 o'clock this morning. He's been working a lot lately. If you guys can, please go see Mad Church Disease previous live earlier today where he talked about why he left the institutional church. Okay. It was very good, very eye-opening. So, but yeah, I just think we just need to make sure that, I know we need to be realistic in the church and outside the church. If you are a lesbian and if you're a gay and that's who you want to be with this person of the same sex, then this is just me. That should be allowed to be in the church. Because all these heterosexuals doing whatever they want to do in church. And no one bats the eye. Stop saying you don't know church stuff and you told like you used to go to New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, Daryl. You've been to church. You've been to a church in your lifetime. That's good. Family Dollar got these things called green Jolly Rancher green apple powders. We put in here. They're so good. Diddy, you was raised COGIC? Yeah. Ask the question, ask the church, help COGIC folks in your chat. Okay. People who were raised COGIC. Thank you, Roxanne. Did they preach against divorce in y'all's church? A lot? Because Mia Nelson said, her sister was raised, they were raised in the COGIC church. people really didn't get divorced unless it was like abuse. Like it sounded like physical abuse, but it seemed like her sister was getting mental and emotional. Yes, Richland? Were there gay people in your church and people knew that they were gay, but they just didn't say anything about it? I know we had that in the Baptist church when I went to the Baptist church with my aunt. I was raised Baptist and holiness. It was a sin to get divorced. But you know what? This is the thing. The Bible says it's not a sin to get a divorce. It's only a sin if you remarry and you've been divorced, because that's considered adultery. But like to get a total divorce is to get okay. Not openly gay, but they knew you were, but you just didn't, And see, now what I'm thinking is there are more gay people who in everyday life, because, there are no laws putting them into jail or saying that they can't get married or adopt kids, even though there's still some places that say you can't do that. Laws are changing more and more. So, and I think also because now some families, not all, because Black folks, I think we're still heavily conservative. We know who the gay people are in our church, and some of them are a little bit more outwardly gay, but not saying that they're gay. Like some people we know. And you know, and I think also what is happening, if you look at the prime example, Andrew Caldwell. Oh, unless their former spouse died. Okay. All right. Yeah, they do have gay churches now, but there are no COGIC gay churches. Metropolitan is a gay-friendly church. The United Methodist Church, I think, is a gay-friendly church. At least their official policy is. Catholic Church says you can be gay and come to church, but you just can't have sex. So it's like, but that's the same thing for heterosexual people. Like, oh, you guys can come to church, but y'all can't, have sex at a wedlock or shack up. It's just like, okay. Like we could come, but you don't want to say. It's like don't ask, don't tell to me. That's what I feel like it is. The Universalist Church is gay friendly. Some of the Episcopal churches are gay friendly. SBC, not so much. Missionary Baptist, not so much. That's what I'm saying. Like half of your church, y'all got. I guess my thing is it seems like what has happened is that the people who are gay, they have found their niche in the COGIC church. If they participate either as in the choir, they write songs, or in some cases preach, but outwardly they're heterosexual, that is okay. And depending on how much money you probably tithing to, probably is yeah, UCC is open. So and I think even in Atlanta they have a Vision Church, and the pastor's gay, and his husband is the first gentleman. There's a church here in Houston, on the northwest side. I want to say it's a Presbyterian church. I gotta double check. The pastor is a man, and he's in a same-sex relationship. His husband is the first gentleman. Affirming. Okay, thank you. Affirming, not gay friendly, but affirming churches. I know St. John's downtown. It's United Methodist, one of the oldest ones in the Houston area. It's an affirming church. I want to say Willard Avenue Baptist Church. I think they're affirming, because I know when I go there, They got a lot of beautiful gay men there. I'm just saying. They do. Yeah, they would preach that, but they had kids by the church mothers unmarried. Yeah. And see, we had that in the Baptist church too. Like my aunt knew a whole lot of stuff because she was a Sunday school teacher, and she knew all the gossip. But she knew also when like unlike my other aunt, she also didn't want to keep her mouth closed. But I was a little kid, I was always under her, so I heard everything, and I was like, "What?" Who? And they're like, so we would go to like the 3 o'clock service, the church is visiting, and then I would say, "Oh, that lady behind me, she's done really good in the choir." My aunt was like, that is not a woman." And I was like, "Aunt, what are you talking about? They have lipstick and stuff on their face." "No, that's a man." And I'm like, "What?" My little head couldn't. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, that he had a lot of gay people at his church, and he likes the girls and the boys. So I was like, I'm 10 years old, and I'm hearing this from the Sunday school teacher at my aunt's church. She is the Sunday school teacher at her church. So I'm just like, yeah, we had all the smoke in the Baptist church. But yeah, hey, we had drill team, we had, you know, choir, youth choir, usher board. That was at least one or two. As I grew up and older, I knew gay and in the church. And it's like it's okay if their talents are being used. We don't want them to be their true selves. And it's just like it's sad. And if what they said about this Pastor Stevenson is true, you couldn't be yourself and you took it out on that poor woman. You should have never married that woman. If you did marry her, you should have been doing a much better job of trying to be a heterosexual man. You should have been taking care of business. And if you are actually HIV positive, your spouse should have known, and she should have been on PrEP. Because if she was on PrEP and this lady was already a diabetic, you basically, sir, mm-mm. That Nelson family must be really holy and spiritual, because I can't see if it was me and I wasn't here and it happened to me, my brother would have whooped your ass already. He would have found you, came by your house, and whooped your ass like in the color purple. We all got together and whooped your ass. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, there's been a couple of fights in church, funerals. hmm So all the deacons smoking. Yes, I saw one time. I saw on the side of the church, and I said to my aunt, I said, "That man, the deacon, that's always crying." She's like, "Yeah, they call him crying man." He was on the side of the church smoking a cigarette. I was like, my whole little mind blew about stuff and stuff. And then one of the grandsons, he had his first child out of wedlock. It was a scandal, but it wasn't a scandal because guess what? His grandfather was the pastor. And then my aunt tried to tell his, I'm sorry, not too much, maybe. My aunt tried to tell his mother when he was in Sunday school, like, hey, your son is very, he's flirting with the little girls. You need to tell him to stop doing that. The mom told him, well, boys will be boys. Later on, he made her a grandmother. Then she's gonna start complaining to my aunt. I'm like, yeah, he already got that baby. What am I gonna do with him? You know what my aunt said? So what am I gonna do with him? He done gave me this grandchild. I know what my aunt said, boys will be boys. They kicked your sister in church? Why? You hit them back? Richlands, Baptist church is not a hypocrite. The Baptist will smoke on the lot. COGIC will run and hide and smoke in the closet. Then she brought her new dude to church. Wow. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. There was another church here when I think I think I was in college, and I was interning at my cousin's company, and he goes to Brentwood Baptist Church, and they had a scandal back in the day. The One of the youth pastors sued the pastor for sexual harassment. Mind you, both the same sex. And so it was a big old thing in the church. Like, oh, how can this happen? He's gay. But he's a single black man, didn't have a wife. And at that time, I would say that for that, I guess growing up, at least in the Baptist church, and even in the Holiness church, Baptist churches, they always had for some reason, they always had a first lady. It's a little bit less, not as common now. Because, wives do get married, do die, or men and women get divorced and stuff like that. But back in the day, they were also married. So this guy, he was single. I think at the time in his 30s of this church, and the guy ended up suing him for sexual harassment, and so I think he ended up settling out of court, and so he said he went to get professional and personal counseling, but never really addressing the fact that saying, yeah, I'm gay. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go off and get professional personal counseling. He's still the pastor, I believe, of that church. But then my cousin, oh, I'm telling too much, but they probably already know about this already. It's Houston. We know all of we know all stuff. Um, my another cousin, went to the same church, and he actually the one cousin that I worked for, he stayed in that church even though that scandal happened with his pastor. And he believed it was true. He hit on this man, the man didn't reciprocate, and then he fired him. And that's also another thing too. You can't. That's also like a title. I forget. Title 7, Title 9. I think it's Title 7. You can't it was. I think it's like gender or sexual discrimination. Like if someone doesn't give in to you and you fire them, that's wrong. That's illegal. So he had him for two things. But that cousin and his wife stayed in the church. My other cousin had left the church because previously there was another incident with the same minister. He had hit on the youth. He hit and youth pastor, and that man, instead of suing him, he just left the church. And then my other cousin kept trying to figure out, well, what happened to that guy. And he started asking questions, and eventually, someone told him the answer. Like, oh, the pastor hit on him and he left. And so he thought that wasn't right. And so him and my other cousin, they ended up leaving the church. So, when those things happen, there are several choices. Some people's like, hey, I'm going to stick it out. This is where, the church rolls on, I guess. Or sometimes for a position like, hey, we don't moved up in whatever in the church, and so we're going to stay here. And in a case, some other cousin was like, no, we're not going to stay here and support you in this foolishness. So, and I think also, another case in point, New Birth under Eddie Long. A lot of people left, but a lot of people stayed. And now they got a new pastor. They went through several pastors. And they got a new pastor who, I think that's probably why he gave out that statement last week, because he wanted to not have another scandal brought to the church, even though he said some other stuff that was kind of like didn't make no sense, but not as not as scandalous. But and we get another prime example with the IBC church in Cincinnati. That church almost had 5,000 people? Oh, thanks, Denise. Title 7, sexual orientation. Yes. Oh, your sister was talking about how ugly the usher was, and then the usher hit her? Lord. Oh, legit, you know who I'm talking about? At Brentwood? Oh, he taught at Morehouse. Oh, L man, you could. What do you mean Daryl stayed? Oh, yeah, Daryl did stay at. Y'all have to let him explain his reasons why he stayed at New Birth after the scandal happened. So, but yeah, it's just okay. Obviously, they had 5,000 people. With 300, because their pastor slept with the wrong woman, even though he wasn't married at the time. So, and she kept popping on from platform to platform, and now the church is suing him. Think he's suing the church. They're trying to get him out because I think the bank owes the bank. They want their money for the loan. I'm just like, okay. So, but yeah, it's just his sister, Christine Parker's sister. But the Baptists, I would say the Baptists are not a hypocritical COGIC, but it's just that also the missionary Baptists, they're not as hierarchical in structure uh, as COGIC. Missionary Baptists are similar to the SBC. They have more less independent congregations, and then they have like an association. You know, but they don't have like the pastor, the superintendent, the area bishop, the governor, the council of bishops, the prelate. Yeah, their structure is more. Everyone knows that Pastor Sweet is honey, legit doctorate. And this is what I don't understand is that we're okay if he's sweet as honey as long as he don't tell us that he's sweet as honey. So it's like no wonder everyone's just hiding it, but we still know. It's I just oh Lord. And while I'm on here, dear heterosexuals out there in the church, y'all nasty. And stop talking bad about homosexuals, lesbian or gays or trans people, and you up there tooting it up, and you got outside kids, and some of y'all sleeping with the pastor or the first lady. The lesbian, the gays, and trans people probably gonna get to heaven before you. Worry about your own soul salvation. L Manny. Yeah, I guess can we? Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of titles. But it's noticing now, like all of a sudden, COGIC has a lot of bishops, and then even like these non-denominational churches, they're starting to have bishops too. I'm like, when did y'all become? When did y'all do this? The only ones I used to thought had bishops were COGIC, United Methodist, the AME, African Methodist Episcopal Church, and the Catholic Church, and yeah, four or five. Now they're just popping up everywhere. Now I'm seeing bishops in the Holiness Church. And the women, if they're not bishops, they're called overseers. I'm like, when did we start using this word? We black. Can we not use overseer? Please, Jesus. Yeah, sexuality is suppressed, and so they have to figure out, you know, COGIC has to. Okay, Daryl. Daryl's on the front line, being an essential worker. He works in the healthcare industry. So that's why he didn't go on tonight. I wasn't even planning on going, and I was planning on doing another little funny video. But after I saw that today, I was just really disturbed. I really am. And I don't know if I need to start a campaign. Like, y'all, please don't go on Larry Live show. He is not a counselor. And don't let him, he has a master's in Christian counseling from a pre-accredited university college. Okay. He is not licensed to be a counselor in North Carolina or Georgia, because that's where he's from. And so, no. And don't get no referrals from him either. Please don't. Jesus, no. Okay? If you need help with a therapist or finding someone in the Houston, Texas area or somewhere else, I can help you with resources. So I know several lawyer friends. If you need one, okay? We're going to follow up and check on you. All right? So I'm just, oh, Lord. I really just want people to be safe. Because whether you're not, you understand or not, there are people out here for clicks, likes, and views. And I'm not monetized. Even though I do like clicks, likes, and views. But Larry Reid is monetized. So when 1,000 people watch him or more, and they like him, the algorithm says, hey, you like this channel, his Google check goes up. Also, all those 1.5 thousand people who are watching him, who know he has a Cash App, a Venmo, a PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. I think he have everything but Zelle, who will send him money. Then on top of that, his Patreon, Larry Liger has a Patreon, that's $12. Then his NBN has a Patreon. That's $8. Then he's doing $125 for prophetic counseling. And please, Nelson family, don't do that. That's $125 for 15 minutes. And if you want a recording of it, it's like $3.99. And that's not even what he charges for advertising on his show. Okay? So basically what I'm saying is Larry Reid has applied Reverend Ike's prosperity gospel to YouTube and social media. Please don't go back over there. Please don't go over there. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, every show. You better with Google than Larry. Oh, for him, that's a prophetic, it's a prophetic word, a prophetic counseling or something for 15 minutes, $125. And like I said, I hope and pray you guys, Nelson family, get justice for your sister, get healing, a therapist, a lawyer, you know. L Manning, be nice. Because you have to understand, they still believe in that way of, let Daryl handle that tomorrow. Let Daryl handle that tomorrow. I want to help direct other people not to go to him. Okay. Daryl's going to give him a message tomorrow like, hey, dude, maybe you shouldn't do this. He said, if you enjoy his show, treat it like you at the movies. What? What? OMG. Well, I've been on here over an hour. Y'all please keep the Alveneeta Nelson family in your prayers. Also just Google her on YouTube and just listen to her wonderful voice. You know? You don't send nobody no offering at the movies. Well, the matinee is only $6, Roxanne. All right. Like I said, listen to Matt Church's These Earlier Live. I also posted 2 videos, one about Larry Reid and his court case, one about Pastor Jamal Bryant and his court things he's been dealing with. Daryl's coming on tomorrow, I believe at 8 p.m. Eastern. Please thank you for supporting me, Marcellus McMillan, and Daryl Moore. We're trying to upgrade our equipment. As you saw with Matt Church's These, he got his calling equipment. Daryl's still waiting on his. I'm not really interested in calling equipment, but I do want to get a better laptop because this Chromebook is giving me a headache. So I want to produce better videos. I did a little split screen last night, and I'm thinking about doing a TikTok video. I don't know. What do y'all think? Trying out some different stuff. You know? Yeah. So y'all stay safe out there. I'm probably gonna post another video tomorrow. I don't know what it's gonna be. I have several I pre-recorded. So maybe I do TikTok. I don't know. But definitely keep the Alveneeta Nelson family in prayer. Pray for Pastor Chadwick Stevenson so he could get some wisdom. So he know what to do. Because he needs it. Yeah. Pray for Larry Reid that he closes his mouth. Stop talking so much and take advantage of people who are in crisis. You haven't got bored enough to do TikTok. Okay. Well, y'all have a good rest of y'all night. Thank y'all for being on here with me a little bit over an hour. I appreciate it so much. Talk to y'all later. Bye.